guess since you showed up, we can watch one of your videos. The greatest pass in racing history by Elite Production. A pass. Okay, I'm interested.
The date is September 5th, 2021, and we're in the final corner of the final lap of...
I think I know. It's the one where the guy like scratched the fence to like pass someone, I think. I think I've seen the clip.
The Southern 500. It seems like Denny Hamlin's got it in the bag, but as he enters turn 3 with a comfortable lead, Kyle Larson, who's led more laps than anyone else tonight, is about to take the fight right to him.
Only 3 drivers that were winless, and now he's slow on the track. The 5 right up behind him. Smoke coming out from Larson. Larson up against the wall. It's a drag race to the checkered flag. Denny Hamlin's gonna win it.
For a split second, it looked like he could do the impossible.
Yeah, but the guy was smart, like don't let him pass.
But as his fenders shred and his momentum stalls out, he bumps into the back of his adversary, giving him enough drive off to take the win. It could have been one of the greatest passes to ever grace the sport of auto racing, but it fell just short. And although he didn't win, NASCAR fans would remember this move for a long time to come. But lost in everyone's recollections was the driver looking on from third, a journeyman who had just had one of the best races of his career, a guy with whom we're about to get very familiar.
He's gonna get inspired though. It's a lot of W.
Ross Chastain, born and raised in Alva, Florida, hails from a family of watermelon farmers spanning back 7 generations, and growing up, he was slated to become the 8th. But around age 12, he would take up a hobby that would stick with him to this day: watermelon chucking. Just kidding, but also not really. His origins can be traced back to Punta Gorda Speedway, where he raced in one driving late models and super trucks. And as he approached his late teens, his talent was beginning to show, winning over 50 races, including a championship in the 2011 NSSWSOASCRLLMP. Good God. One of the people in attendance for that series...
At this point, it's probably more complicated to say the abbreviated version, just say the full words.
Was team owner Stacy Compton, who was looking for a replacement after his driver, Justin Marks, vacated his seat midway through the season. Ross would answer the call, and what was supposed to be a one-off start at the Lucas Oil Raceway turned into his big break, with the 18-year-old phenom finishing 10th out of 36 drivers in his very first start, and only one spot behind future series champion Austin Dillon.
Lucas Oil Raceway, your first ever start, get a top 10. First of all, congratulations on a solid debut here in the Camping World Truck Series.
Thank you, sir. Means a lot.
Don't use sir, please. My dad's at home.
His media presence may have needed some work, but as a race car driver, he had made it clear he was here to stay. But in chasing his dream, he would find out just how hard hacking it in NASCAR really is.
This is NASCAR. I mean, why do they look so weird? They're like just tiny pickup truck with very low body or something. Yeah, I guess it's just a different version of NASCAR, like for younger driver, but I don't know why they're just not driving like normal cars, I guess. Normal NASCAR cars.
For the next 7 years, he would bounce around from team to team, sporting a watermelon-themed paint scheme and a can-do attitude everywhere he went. And although he showed some promise every now and again, he would end up being pigeonholed as a backmarker driver, destined to languish with teams that have no business being in the big show. To many star drivers, he was nothing more than a roadblock, an unnecessary fixture on the leaderboard who would often find himself tangling with top talents.
Mr. Ross Chastain. Oh, the watermelon guy. Somebody needs to whoop his ass.
The
But in the latter
watermelon
half of
guy.
2018, he would finally get his shot in top-tier equipment. Chip Ganassi's slogan is that he likes winners, which probably made him reluctant to tap Chastain, who by his 129th start in the Xfinity Series had yet to find victory lane. But by rolling the dice on a wing and a prayer, both of them would win big in Las Vegas.
Coming out of turn number 4, he's going to earn his first win in the Xfinity Series.
And that was it. After years of hauling C-tier equipment around the track, Ross Chastain had finally made it, solidifying his place in NASCAR for good. 55 days after his maiden win, he and Ganassi announced a full-season partnership for the following year, as well as a full season with Premium Motorsports and select starts with Nice Motorsports. It seemed like things were finally coming together, and greatness was sure to follow.
What happened now?
A A week before Christmas in 2018, the FBI raided the home of Jeff and Paulette Karpoff, owners of Chip Ganassi's primary sponsor, DC Solar. It turns out that the company, originally thought to be a thriving solar energy manufacturer, was actually the biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of Eastern California, cheating their investors out of over $1 billion. Of course, the company went under, and it left a gaping hole in Ganassi's sponsorship plan, one that the team wouldn't be able to fill. And so 2 days after New Year's, a month and a half before Daytona, Ganassi shut down its Xfinity Series program for good, putting Ross Chastain out of a job. For all intents and purposes, he was back at square one, forced back.
I mean, he's proven that he can win, so some of the sponsors might be interested.
Into fumbling around with mid-pack teams during the most grueling part of his career. So who were these mid-pack teams? Founded in 2016, Colleague Racing was a surprisingly competitive startup that could never seem to find victory lane. By their 4th season in 2019, they were still looking for that first win. By now they had expanded to a 2-car team, and for the Daytona race in July, they stretched to 3, adding the number 16 driven by the Melon Man himself. He had already made a few starts for the team with mixed results, but with a new number and a new lease on life, Ross Chastain led
I want some watermelon now. It's like temperature have been rising, and today I think it's gonna be like 25 or more. It's watermelon weather, yeah. And now I want some.
Car train to their very first victory.
Matt Collick wanted this very scenario, to win a race. How about win at Daytona? Ross Chastain will win.
This win.
Also another unrelated thing, but there's a really cool classic 80s metal band called Chastain, with a female vocalist who was like an absolute scorch kind of verse. It's really badass. I recommend the band Chastain.
Kicked off a dynasty of dominance for Colleague Racing, who would go on to win the next 6 out of 12 super speedway races over the course of the next 3 years. And in the truck series, Chastain joined up with another recent startup in Nice Motor.
Just why smash it though? Just eat it, dude.
Sports. Unlike Colleague, this team was a real zero. That is until Chastain came in and showed what they could do.
Ross Chastain bringing it to the line. He's going to win at Kansas.
After this race, he decided to make a run for the Truck Series Championship, and although he fell just 1 spot short, he had once again proven himself to be one of the greatest rising talents in NASCAR. And to this day, despite hosting 41 different drivers, including the likes of Travis Pastrana, Kyle Larson, and Connor Daly, Ross Chastain remains the only driver to win in a Nice Motorsports truck. Despite his success in the Truck Series, his win at Daytona gave Matt Colleague an itch he just had to scratch, and so for 2020, Ross was tapped to drive the 10-car full-time. Finally, a year where he didn't have to jump from car to car, where he could race in one series and focus on one championship. So how did it go? Well, he immediately jumped from car to car, and then... Yep, he'd have to race in another series. And on top of that, the world ended, and then another driver would be put out of commission, albeit for much different reasons. Once again, looks like Chastain's going to have to answer the call.
Matt Kenseth returning to the Cup Series in the number 42 Chevrolet with Chip Ganassi Racing.
Oh, okay, that was unexpected. That's okay, because he still had a full season in the Xfinity Series, where he would once again impress, but ultimately fail to find victory lane, and make a few enemies in the process.
He's out front, but can he hold it against the wall? He gets into the wall, so does the 10, contact made, here comes the 19, Brandon Jones is leading.
We just saw the replay of you going off into 3 there. Was that a Hail Mary move?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he was running his line, I was running my line. I thought we had a great race going there.
Do you think all the moves made there were fair or not?
You know, Marty, it's pretty crazy to get out after a race like that and get asked questions like that that lead me into bad answers. But no, man, it's to be able to go up against a guy like Denny Hamlin, a future Cup champion, and go to the end like that with him, Marty, is I'm just proud of this group. I'm proud of the effort.
Thankfully, in due time, Ross would finally get his shot in the 42, running it full time in the Cup Series for 2021. This was a big year for NASCAR, as it would host the introduction of 3 new teams, 2311, Live Fast, and Trackhouse Racing.
Is it though? It's 2021, I mean, COVID and all that. Isn't it a terrible year for everything because, you know, you can barely have any crowds?
And whereas the other 2 would take a more traditional approach, Trackhouse would turn the concept of a stock car racing team on its head. First of all, there's Justin Marks. Yep, the guy who inadvertently gave Chastain his first big break. He's an exceptional race car driver who's well-versed in a wide range of disciplines, but one could argue that he's an even better entrepreneur. He was an early investor in GoPro, and with the help of fellow driver Michael McDowell, he opened the GoPro Motorplex, a staple of the Carolinian karting scene. His best venture, however, was yet to come, as Trackhouse would encapsulate everything he had envisioned as a NASCAR team owner, and now all they had to do was find a driver.
He will be the first ever international champion in NASCAR!
Daniel Suarez had made a name for himself as the first foreign-born driver to win the Xfinity Series championship, but after being forced into the Cup Series a year sooner than expected, it was mostly doom and gloom. Despite driving for championship-caliber teams like Joe Gibbs and Stuart Haas, he just couldn't amass the stats expected of him, and by 2020, it looked like the chance of any promising opportunity had come and gone. But lo and behold...
I love the car just exploding and it says certified used vehicle, yeah. I can tell. The front is literally like exploding.
2020, it looked like the chance of any promising opportunity had come and gone. But lo and behold, there was Trackhouse. Despite their somewhat sordid history on track, Mark saw something in Suarez that nobody else did, and he'd be thanking his lucky stars that he chose him to bear the flag. And the last, but certainly not least piece of this puzzle was Pitbull.
What's Mr. 30 Mr. Worldwide, back at it again and let you know. I just came to remind y'all.
I totally forgot about this guy. He had a song that was really popular like in the early 2010 that I actually liked, and that was always on TV and radio. I can't remember the name. Yeah, I forgot about this guy.
That's right, Mr. 305 himself. In an interesting time that saw personalities like Michael Jordan and Floyd Mayweather investing in NASCAR, Mr. Worldwide decided to throw his hat in the ring as well. And together they would create a super team for the ages. And although their maiden season wouldn't bear much fruit, they had their eyes set on the next generation. Originally set to debut in 21, NASCAR had been testing its next-gen car since late 2019, and like the generations before, it was meant to be a supercharged spin on a modern stock car, but with two catches. Number one, durability. The fragility of the Gen 6 took away a quality of NASCAR that fans hold near and dear. Good old beating, banging, and roughing them up. So NASCAR made an effort to make the next gen more durable, able to take more punishment like the days of old. And number two, costs. One of the greatest Cinderella stories was that of Furniture Row Racing, a small team based out of Denver, Colorado, who climbed their way to a championship, only to close their doors the following year. We've already seen how a lack of funding can nix a team wholesale, so NASCAR mended the problem by creating a cost-cutting system where, instead of teams building cars from top to bottom, they would receive the chassis and parts from designated manufacturers. This would bring the prices down, as well as make the racing more even-keeled, giving the newer, smaller, underfunded teams a better shot at finding success. A new era was on the horizon, but in the revolving door of racing, new teams enter, and old ones leave.
We're here to announce that Trackhouse Entertainment Group and Trackhouse Racing has purchased the NASCAR operation of Chip Ganassi Racing.
Chip Ganassi's operations would be bought out by none other than Trackhouse Racing, who purchased the shop, resources, and two charters, one for Daniel Suarez and another for, well, I think you know by now.
Trackhouse Racing has announced that Ross Chastain will be signing on as the second driver for the team in 2022.
So things are
Up to
working
this
out
point,
now.
neither Ross nor Trackhouse had won a race in the Cup Series, but with an all-star lineup, airtight plan, and the utmost confidence heading into 22, destiny would finally be forced to oblige.
And Ross Chastain beats and bangs his way to turn 20 and off the corner to the checkered flag. Great job, boy.
From here, there was just no stopping them. In addition to another win at Talladega and Daniel Suarez's first win at Sonoma, the team beat their previous year's stats with prejudice, putting Trackhouse Racing on top of the world. It didn't come without controversy, however, as Ross would find himself ruffling more feathers than ever before, mainly those of his old foe, Denny Hamlin. And when NASCAR rolled into St. Louis, the other drivers made it very clear.
I see the controversy, like, it seems to be part of it. You push people out of your way. Yeah. So I see the controversy. I mean, I'm sure the guy who get pushed is mad, and the fans are mad, but maybe controversy is too big of a word, no?
Clear what they thought of the humble watermelon farmer.
Are y'all going to say it or me?
Go ahead.
Okay. The 11 is waiting on Ross Chastain, I believe.
Or is he?
Here we go.
Yes, he might be.
As Howard just said, they think you made your point. You're right.
Oh, around goes the 9, Chase Elliott. it. When they can. Tells me we're going to have to go back and watch this replay. I think the one car had something to do with this.
You mean the car that is right up Chase Elliott's left rear?
Tell me the Lord don't have a sense of humor. How does that work?
There's Chase right there with him. This could be almost as fun as the front of the pack.
Well, Denny didn't, but... Oh, jeez.
What
It's a push.
a double tag team. I'm going to tell you what, this is a show.
No, there's only one solution to this. Mark them both.
Despite his detractors, he couldn't be slowed down, and at the following race in Indianapolis, he literally couldn't be bothered to slow down. Drivers had been getting wrecked into turn 1 all day long, and being stuck 4 wide, outside, entering a corner with maybe 3 lanes of room, yeah, he knew he wouldn't make it. But thankfully, there was another way.
Oh man, this is different. Like in most of the NASCAR video we had seen, I guess I'd seen like only the biggest arena, I guess, where like the way it's built is that they never slow down. There's not a turn like this, it's constantly like an oval, I guess. I didn't realize that there was NASCAR where, you know, they had moments where they needed to slow down. I had the impression that like NASCAR was something where like they are always max speed basically. I just didn't realize there was like tracks like this. We're nothing there. People mad at this wouldn't have survived dead and out, yeah. I get it. It's like that in every sport, I guess. Even if something is within the rules, you have some people like mad at it. If someone does it.
Side by side up front, though. Chastain. He's right there. They're going side by side to the kink.
And around goes the 1. He's able to get by the 8.
Say what you will, but if you ask me, this was highly preferable to the alternative, and he would have gotten away with it too, had it not been for the wording NASCAR used for its rule. You can only use the runoff if you make a, quote, honest attempt to slow down. Needless to say, NASCAR wasn't buying it, and he would end up being relegated to a 27th place finish.
What were you thinking?
What do you mean, where?
Taking the access road there, and is that something you and the team had talked about earlier? It's like, that's a great option, and it may not cost us anything?
No, Dave, no.
In the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter, because his eyes were already set 5 weeks ahead to the playoffs.
I mean, took a shortcut like it's a video game.
There are playoffs in NASCAR? All right, let's go through this again. In 2004, NASCAR implemented a points reset with 10 races left, allowing only the top 10 drivers at that point to qualify for the championship. Then they expanded it to 12, then 13, but in 2014, they revamped the whole system from the ground up. 16 drivers, 3 rounds, 3 races each, and then a championship race. Winner takes all. It's not the most popular format by any means, but to its credit, it has created some crazy highlights, and the best of them, no doubt, come from here.
Kenson takes him out. Logano into the wall.
Ow.
Comes out and the crowd roars. The bumper to the back of the 24. Elliott goes around. Hamlin takes the lead and the caution comes out. Here comes Logano. A drag race and it's going to be Logano getting the win. Hey, stop.
Let them fight. Let them fight.
He turns as well, and Harvick is going to be out of the playoffs.
Most ovals are built with fairly wide turns, allowing the cars to race with more speed in the corners. But back in 1947, H.C. Earls was caught in quite the pickle. The land he had purchased for the Martinsville Speedway was flanked on one side by a railroad track, and so instead of creating a traditionally shaped oval, he built something more akin to 2 parallel drag strips. This created a kind of racing hard to find anywhere else, as drivers would be forced to slow down a lot more than usual just to make the corner. This leads to a lot of tight-knit, close-quarters, bumper-to-bumper racing. There truly is no other place like it, and the race they do in the fall is always a classic. Seriously, I could name an iconic moment from just about every fall Martinsville race in the past decade, but something about the 2022 spring race felt odd. There wasn't a lot of passing. There wasn't a lot of that good old beating, banging, and roughing them up. And above all else, it felt like the train had found its way onto the track. If there was ever a year for the Martinsville streak to die, this was it, and the teams now knew what to expect when they returned in the fall.
Wait,
no one unexpected, however, was Ross Chastain. He hadn't even sniffed the postseason in the year before, but now things looked a whole lot different. Both Trackhouse cars made it to the second round of the playoffs and looked set to advance to the third, until a last-minute mechanical failure knocked Daniel Suarez out. This left Chastain as the only remaining Trackhouse driver in the penultimate round of the playoffs, but that didn't intimidate him. He opened the round with a runner-up finish at Vegas, and then another at Homestead, and by the time they arrived in Martinsville, he had put himself in prime position to chase a championship. But as the laps ticked by and stage points were given, it was clear that Ross was behind the 8 ball. At the white flag, he was 2 positions away from advancing, but his competitors were too far ahead to pass. To everyone else, this is how his season would end. Quietly, unceremoniously.
I mean, we've seen earlier, like, the kind of unconventional thinking he might have, the way he just, like, took that shortcut, like in a video game or something. It didn't work out, but clearly he's willing to do stuff like this. Hates the player format, but as I said, no one can deny it creates some of the most iconic moments in NASCAR history. Fair enough. I wonder why they changed the rules in the first place, since NASCAR is like so old. Maybe it wasn't working or people were complaining, but then when you change, people are still complaining. I guess it's probably like hard to really ever find the right balance or something. Yeah. Like there's some sports where like they never really change the rules. I mean, yeah. Like I watch sumo, and in sumo, I don't think they have changed the rules in like the last 100 years basically. The last time they changed the rules, yeah, it might have been 100 years ago or something. So, you know, sometimes it feels like it's so stuck in some stupid stuff. But at the same time, then you have sport where like they are too willing to change the rules all the time, and then it becomes kind of a mess. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
And 2 points behind his biggest rival. For the final time, he would make his way down the backstretch, and then... What was he thinking at this moment? What was going through his head? Was he thinking about Kyle Larson's send the year before? Or his own send in Indianapolis? Was he thinking about all the moments of uncertainty, not knowing if he'd ever race again? Was he thinking about his first big break? Or his second? Or his third? Was he thinking about the durability of the new car? Or his rivalry with Denny Hamlin? Was he thinking of Martinsville's unique shape? Or the playoff system that...
Maybe it's not thinking, maybe it's just instinct.
What was he thinking at this moment?
The instinct to win.
Home. In the watermelon fields.
No way he brought it back to the watermelon.
Growing up alongside his brother and playing NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup on their Nintendo GameCube. That's what he was thinking about. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Bell out of turn 4. He's going to do it. He's won his way into the championship.
Let's go get a championship.
So yeah, okay, because I guess if you slow down to turn, normally he couldn't pass anyone, but by doing this he didn't slow down, and so he was able to pass everybody in the turn. That's cool.
Do it! He's won his way into the championship.
Let's go get a championship.
And the fight for the point, right at the line. The one of Chastain past Hamlin.
It was a video game move off into turn 3.
Chastain.
Awesome. Awesome.
We're going to fight for a championship in Phoenix. Take a look at what he did.
I have never seen anything like that before in my life.
Ross Chastain.
I'm surprised no one has tried this before. It seems kind of obvious now that we just saw it.
Used the wall all the way around this racetrack to race his way into the championship 4.
He went from 10th to 5th place.
For all of life's predictability, there are a few moments that forever stand the test of time, that force us to suspend our disbelief, not out of spite or refusal.
I wonder if then they're gonna ban it. This is the kind of thing that might become a rule and they might ban it. You saw it live. Awesome.
But because they are so hard to believe that even when you're there, seeing it, in the moment, you can't believe it. They don't come often, but that's what makes them important to appreciate, to archive, and to look back on. He would go on to finish runner-up in the championship, but it didn't matter. He had done something that no one else had ever done before, and because of this, in just his second full-time season, he was vice champion of NASCAR. You can tell me about PK and Senna. You can tell me about Zanardi and Herta. You can tell me about Stewart and, well, everyone. And while they are iconic in their own right, they still exist within the realm of possibility. Chastain did the impossible. He put the world around him into slow-mo with a pass that can only happen here, now, with this car, this track, and this driver.
All right, we're going to go to questions for...
I feel like some other people will try it now. Oh, they banned it, okay. Okay. Makes sense, otherwise everyone would do it. It would be dangerous. Yeah, but it would be fun.
Ross?
You think they have questions?
I think they do. They've been waiting.
I have questions.
They've been waiting for you. So.
Alright. Epic. Yeah, I had seen obviously the clip before in some video, car compilation video we had seen. But the context adds a lot more to it. Love that. love this kind of videos that give full context on something like this. Yeah, I mean, super fun to watch. Super fun to watch and kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. On one side, it's a shame that they banned it. I mean, I'd love to see more people doing it. Yeah, but hey, I understand. Okay, well, again, even if like the guy doesn't do super well with the rest of his career, his name is into history. I mean, I guess you know, since no one else is allowed to do it, yeah, this is really gonna stay as a unique moment of all time. Great video, great video. Seriously, that is some video game stuff. Each car would damage the wall a bit more, and then one of the cars gets shredded or debris would fly into the fans. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, yeah, that is true. Here's a link. Great video, really enjoyed that one. That was something. Okay.